Hello, collectors. Welcome to the For Collectors Sunday live stream. I am your host this week, John, the 3D 80s Kid, and I have got a great show for you lined up. We are going to be talking about the best designed of set for every decade from the 80s all the way back to the beginning of the 20th century. And I've got three great hosts, guests, on this panel to help me with their selections, and I'll be asking you in the audience for your picks as well, and we'll get some good interaction. So let's stick around and check this out.
Welcome to For Collectors.
All right, so before we get started, like you saw on the screen a second ago, Hobby Palooza is coming in 4 weeks. It is going to be bigger than ever. We are actually starting at Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and it's going till late on Friday, and it's starting again Saturday morning at 10 Eastern and going to late that evening. And then Sunday, it starts again at 10 Eastern and goes until this usual start time here for the For Collectors live stream will be the wrap-up show. So that is going to be a great time. We have got lots of great hosts and great shows lined up for that event. More information will be coming soon. I'll be doing a preview show that I believe will air on July 9th that is going to outline the event in full. So mark that on your calendars. 4 weeks. You want to be glued to your YouTube screen and interact with all of these great shows in the audience. It's going to be loads of fun. But for now, let's bring on our panel for this program of talking about the best set designs from every decade. To start things out, I got inspired to do this a little bit by Theo's live stream a couple weeks ago. That stirred up a lot of people with how things went with the 50s rankings. And so I thought it might be fun to chime in a little bit to clarify things right away so none of you run away. There will be no math tonight. We are going to show a lot of cards. I have got a stack of cards to show. So no math here. All right. But to kick things off, the fiery guy from the chat is actually one of our For collectors right here, Dan. Welcome, Dan.
Hey, John. Thanks for having me on. I need to correct everything that Theo did wrong, so I'm here to do that. And wearing my For collectors vintage trade night shirt.
List, so.
And I've got 3 shirts tonight, so I'm going to have some wardrobe changes too. So there you go.
Oh, fancy. That's diva behavior that we got there with wardrobe changes, huh? All right. And to add to our panel, we have got an awesome collector out there. John P. collects cards. Welcome.
Hey, everybody. Hey, John. Hey, Dan. Thanks for having me on tonight. This is going to be fun. It was great to hear from you when you reached out about this. And so much so that I put off grabbing all my cards until about 15 minutes ago. But I had it all down, and it was a matter of going through everything.
Nothing like the last minute for preparation,
but, my stack's about as tall as yours, but it's broken up into 3 piles and ready to go.
Excellent. Last but certainly not least, we have got Aaron Value Vintage Cards. Welcome, Aaron.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, glad to join you guys. This is going to be a fun one.
Oh yeah, gonna cover a lot of cards, a lot of beautiful cards, because we are really focused on the set designs that we love. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. And As we go through each of the decades, I am going to be asking the audience what they think are their favorite card designs for each decade. Dan is handling the chat on the screen, so I can handle the camera views. Once I ask you what your favorite sets for the decade, we'll give our number 3 and 2 choices, and then we'll come back and check out all of your choices for number 1 before we then show our number 1 choices for each decade. So with that, any more slander towards Theo, Dan? Or you good to go?
Yeah, that's why I put this up on the screen, because we're not stealing his idea, we're fixing his idea, man.
Oh, so yeah, exactly.
We're refining it.
Yeah. Revising to perfection. That's what a professor once told me, that I had to take a technical writing class. So you were allowed to turn it in as many times until you got an A, and that's what he called it. Really, he didn't care. So that's what it amounts to. But
love it.
So all right, with that, we are starting with the 1980s, and we're going to go back in time. So everybody in the chat, what is your favorite set design from the 1980s? And we're going to kick things off here with Dan with his number 3 choice. He hates his camera, so I put a slideshow ready to go for his cards here, which, there we go. And there we go on the screen. His number 3 choice. Go for it, Dan.
So I'm not an 80s collector. I have very few cards from the decade, mostly just guys that I play or collect whose careers went into the 80s. When I was going over these sets, I thought to myself, well, it looks like they keep trying to copy the 60s. Like 83 is like 63, and 87 is like 62, and 86 is like 71. So it's like Topps really didn't have any new ideas in the 80s. But I don't know. I like this one for the sort of simplicity. I like the black border. Reminds me of 71, which makes me feel good. So I figured I'd pull out one of my Moynihan specials, grading the Hall of Famers from the 80s, and take it into the number 3 slot. So there you go.
All right. Now let's switch can reviews. And John, how about your number 3 choice?
Okay, so I had a very late 9th inning change in my ranking because I could not find a 1989 Upper Deck card easily enough, or at least I could have gone through comments boxes. Didn't have time, but at the same time, 89 Upper Deck changed everything, and probably in the end for the better. But who knows? It was the end of the 80s and just the old ways that we used to enjoy cards. So the 4th place now up to the medal stand on bronze. 3rd place is 1981 Topps, and I'm going to start it off with our favorite Hall of Famer, Harold Baines.
The GOAT.
The hats were I think a little creative. Actually, it was something that I can't remember really seeing before that, and I don't think there has been really. Here's Reggie. I remember flipping these, like not like the flipping we know now, but like as in a game, where if you just sort of you stacked them up, and if you matched cap colors, you'd take the stack. And so that was a very fun piece of this year's that I remember pretty well. Here's Yount. And so, the 81 Topps, my brother and I opened a ton of it. And so it just has a soft spot in my heart a little bit. And so that's number 3.
It was a near miss for me. So it's a good choice. How about Aaron?
All right. My 3rd place. I wonder if other people are going to have this on their list, but I actually went with what I think is one of the most popular, iconic. For me, this was just before I started collecting, so 84 Donruss. I feel like there was so many huge cards that were just in my prime childhood collecting era that 84 Donruss had to be on the list for me. So I put that in 3rd place. I think the design was very 80s. I think the line's going across the bottom, but that set for me, I can't get away from thinking that set's awesome. So,
all right. And my 3rd choice, I end up going with 84 Topps. Like how they do the bold team name vertical there, very different design from others. They went with the little picture in the corner like they did the year before, changed it up a little bit. and it was classic enough that they bothered at some point. I don't know what year it was produced, that Michael Jordan card where they mimic this design, because it's a cool design. So, but although I suppose they did 84 because that was the year he got drafted, but maybe that's why. But all right.
Yeah, 84 was a pretty good year for tops.
Dan, the next card on your selection was 1980 there.
Well, I also looked at this and I said, well, that's kind of a vintage card, so it's the only vintage card in the decade of the 80s, so I figured it'd have to be in there. I don't know, 80. I have had the complete set. It's got a lot of Hall of Famers in it. It's got some really good pictures. I like the design. I like the little flag with the Yankees. It reminds me a little of 65. We'll get to that later. So I felt like putting 80 in the top 3 was probably, right in my wheelhouse.
All right. And then back to game review. And John, what's your number 2 choice?
This is, I think, going to be the first of probably several back-to-backs. Number 2 in the 80s also for me is 1980 tops. Pretty much for the same reasons Dan mentioned. Last year of vintage, kind of as we define it. I think it was a pretty interesting design. A lot of these picks for me are going to have a little bit of, I don't want to say to use the word bias, but favoritism, etc. But it's also, I think, a pretty good design that kind of lasts the test of time a little bit too. I don't want to say it's classic or iconic, but it's got some iconic cards in the set. That's for sure. So yeah, 80 gets number 2 for me.
All right. And Aaron.
So I feel like 80s was the one where I'm going to get all the hate in the comments, but I went really with my own, it was my experience of things. Like in 1980, I was 3, so I didn't really get to experience that firsthand. 87 was the year that I was binging. If I found 30 cents, I was going there trying to figure out how to buy a pack. So nothing was 10-year-old Aaron more than 87 tops, and finding a Conseco with the little, trophy on it, like that rookie cup there, is just, that's as good as it gets for me. The wood grain, I will say, I agree. It is kind of a 62 tops wannabe recycle. But when you say what to me, that's what a card looked like when I was getting into cards. So for me, that was always going to be a win.
Nostalgia wins the day for you there. So
for sure.
All right.
I have 87 as my runner-up, so
okay,
you're not so bad.
Okay. All right, my number 2 pick is 85 Fleer.
Nice.
I love the color matching borders they did on this one. They are spectacular. I thought the Expos looked really nice. The Reds really stand out, really looking really good. The A's cards look great in this set. I mean, just really nice job with a lot of these color matching. So, which, now in the parallel era, you find guys getting color match border is a big deal, where even a little higher population can cost more than a lower one, right? So
that's an inspired choice, John. I like it.
All right, thanks. Back to Dan. Let's flip to his next slide, and that is 83 there.
So Greg says everything I've said is wrong so far. So wait till he gets to the 50s. I got some words for him. Anyway, so yeah, 83. I actually got back into cards for a little bit in this time frame, and had some 83s. It was one of those things where I felt like, the game was going pretty good at that point. The Yankees were pretty good, and there was a lot of Hall of Famers. And I collect Reggie, and this got pulled out of a pack, I don't know, not that long ago. Sent it off to SGC. Got an 8. I think it probably could do a little bit better, but that's fine. I like the circular design. I like the players. The colors are good. The photos are good. I think it's just overall, top to bottom, the most consistently solid set. And the backs are okay. You got this sort of a brownish thing, but you get the full stats too. So that's a pretty cool set. So the 80s, that's my number one pick.
Oh yeah, I forgot the chat way back when I asked for the number one pick. We had 84 Donruss, we had 83 Tops, so in agreement there. 84 Tops, 87, 84, 89 Upper Deck, 89 Upper Deck. We got 86 from Mookie, 83 Tops. Seaver on the Red Sox. Okay. We got Craig giving his ranking of 85, 81, 87. I'm assuming all tops there. 83 OPG. So nice he said it twice. 86 Tops for Mookie. Is that it? No, we got some 87 Donruss, an 88 Score fan. Score in the house.
We opened
All
a lot.
right.
My brother
80.
and I opened a decent amount of that actually first year.
83, 82 Donruss and 81 Tops. I actually like the 83 Donruss better with the glove. I feel like the ball is too weird shaped or weird sized compared to the bat. So I don't know. Yeah, 83. I'm assuming a Tops person with Drew there. 81 Tops. All right, lots of good choices. So we are now back to John with his number one choice for the decade.
First, I just wanted to say real quick. I'd say 83 Tops was I was thinking about that pretty well. It probably would have been like fifth. The Super Veterans in 83 is an awesome subset in that set. So I've actually thought about collecting autographs from that, but I just thought I'd put that out there. Number one for me is actually not a top set. I think this set has grown on me, not just grown on me since I've gotten back in the hobby, but I think it's like a legitimately like, I'm going to say all-time great set. But I think 84 Donruss is a fantastic, it's the best set Donruss ever did, in my opinion. Easily the best set. I lean towards simplistic, yet simplistic designs that still have like little bits of color in them. And I don't know, there's just something about the portraits work. I'm a portrait guy, tend to be for cards. This is my one Mattingly auto I have. And I don't know, 84 Donruss, I think it's just it's a strong set, and I really wish my brother and I had opened more of it as kids. We didn't open a whole lot of it. We didn't see it around too much, I don't think. I think they printed less of it. And,
I never saw it anywhere in California.
What's
at least
that?
where I lived. I lived in
Northern
California and never saw it anywhere.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's I think it's a great set. Really do.
So, all right. Good choice there, Aaron.
All right, my number one, I'm going off the rails. You're going to put me backstage for the rest of the show probably, but that's okay. I went, again, 10-year-old Aaron. I went a little bit emotional, but I wanted to pick a set that I thought was distinct. I thought the design was simple, but definitely stands out, and it's one that I'm sure no one else will pick, but their images were amazing too. Let's see if I can get that to show up without all the glare. But 87 classic game. I don't know how many people had this, but I sat around and played this game daily to where the back of it's just as good. So you get stats, it's pretty legit, but then you get these like trivia questions. So you play the game, you get a single, double, triple, you have to answer a different level of challenging question. And the bow that was redone a few years later with Nolan Knows Bow, with Nolan Ryan holding the card, is pretty epic. So that's been in a screw down probably since 1991 for me. So I had to go a little less traditional, but that to me is my favorite set of the 80s.
That bow card is a classic, for
That's
sure.
a great card.
Underrated.
Sorry, I was chuckling over Mookie's comment there.
What's he throwing at?
I have to do my first wardrobe change, so I had a request to do it off camera. So I'll be back in about 10 seconds.
All right. Okay. What? Any other good comments out there? Yeah. gave a video like. Yes, Brian is always the one that promotes giving videos likes. Certainly do that and help us out. That would be appreciated. Bo Jackson is sweet. Yes, they are classics. Oops, no sir.
Can you give me a solo, John?
All right, sure. What do we got? Oh,
this is the 1972 shirt, new to the Rainbow Studios Etsy store, which we should send everybody to. I bought 3 shirts.
Yeah, Reindeer Studios. I'll have to add that to the description after the stream. Now that you've mentioned
definitely.
It,
so I'm repping for 72 for a little bit now. So there you go. You can take me off.
All right. Good stuff. So we are into the 70s. This time I'll save the favorite set till the end because then I was a pain to go back up in the chat. So, so number 3.
John, did you do your 80s set?
Oh no, I didn't. Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Sorry, John. That was my.
Dan threw me off. Yeah. All right, my number 1 set for the 80s is going to be a well-loved choice for our fellow 4 collector Caesar. It has nothing to do with Steve Jeltz, but it is 89 Tops. Another well-done color matching all over the place set. I am a sucker for color matching, so. And this card in particular is one of the few that actually looks good in a PSA slab with the color matching of the slab. So, but yeah, this one in particular, I don't know, something about the wavy thing. It kind of harkens to 65 a little bit with the flag on there a bit, but yeah. All right. Now we're to the 70s. Okay, thank you. Now we're back to the slideshow. All right. Now for Dan's is the number 3 choice. There we go.
I tricked you all. You thought I was going to put 72 as number 1, but no. You got 2 other sets you got to deal with first. But anyway. I think 72 is in any other decade. Like if it were in the 80s, it would be number 1. If it were in the 60s, it would be number 1. 1972 is an amazing set from start to finish. And it really has like such a great sort of the upper, with the team on the front and the player's name in the bottom. And it gave Roberto Clemente the proper respect by giving him his correct first name. And the backs are pretty cool, even though the brown maybe isn't the best, but it's one of those backs that has all the stats. So there you go.
All right. Great choice. We are going over now to John with the camera. There we go.
All right. 72. I gave a little thought to it, but it didn't crack my top 3. There's something about no position on the fronts of the cards that to me is, I won't say it's a non-starter, but it's a hang-up I've always had. But third place for me is 76 Tops. This is a set that's really grown on me since I got back in the hobby. I have almost 100 of these autographed through the mail. Actually, I think mine really well as autographs. There's a Gary Carter, and there's just some awesome photos in this set. Pete Rose, that's a great shot of him. I call it the batting cage set in a way too, because he's almost certainly at the batting cage, and there are several shots in this set around the batting cage or around batting cages. And here's this one. This might be my favorite bench card. So 76 gets number 3 for me.
Great choices. All right, Aaron.
Very cool. Here's the first of my, I think, 2 times that I'm going to cheat. I didn't pick a year. I'm just going to say any year you want to go with for Hostess, I'm good with. I don't think any of them are all that different, but they're all just cool. And the 70s, there's a few sets I really, really like, but to me, the images they captured are as good as Tops, if not better on any of the given years. But I mean, the Hank Aaron, the Eddie Murray rookie, the Nolan Ryan, like that's a really cool Nolan Ryan. So yeah, I just very broadly say put Hostess in there, pick the one you like, and call it good. So it's my number 3.
Okay. Interesting selection there.
Sorry for cheating.
All right. That leads to my choice, which if you'd asked me this question 2 years ago, it would have been different. But now that I've had these cards behind me on the wall long enough and stared at the different sets over hours and hours, I've now got this one at number 3.
Ah, there we go.
So, yeah. So there we go. 1972 once again. Screaming 70s with that design, but all right.
That's nice.
Are we getting chat messages on who their favorite, which designs are their favorites out there?
Yeah, I've been putting them up. Have you not been seeing them? There we go.
Oh yeah, I guess I have. I just didn't hear it at the start, so my bad.
All right, we're on to number 2 for Dan now. And I've got that one there. All right.
So, yeah. All right. Everybody's like, oh, it's gray. It's boring. Oh, come on. It's the old gray lady. It's a classic.
It is gray and boring.
Set. It's the first set of the decade. It's the first set I ever collected as a kid. So, yes, I'm a little bit biased. And yes, I am old enough to have collected this as a very small child.
And it's now color matching to your hair.
Yeah, exactly. So the old gray lady has got great photographs. A lot of the photographs are Yankee Stadium, Shea Stadium. I don't know. I just love the set. There's some clunkers, but there's also some amazing cards. And this Nolan Ryan is an amazing card. And I'm flexing a little because it's an auto card. So I pulled out. I could have pulled out any one of the cards from the set, but I've had the complete set for a very long time now at this point. So happy to put it in number 2. You'd think I would have put it in number 1, but I won't. I think as soon as I show my number 1, people will understand. So go for it.
All right. Now we're going to switch to John with the camera. Here we go. Your number 2 set.
Okay. My number 2 set, I think it's an iconic one, and it's 1971. It's just it's just a cool design. That's the first word that comes to mind. It's just cool. It was such a, I mean, I don't know if you call it a roll of the dice or a gamble from Topps, but it's they went for it, going all black like this, and just with the typography. I'm very into typography, and it's very evocative of the time period. This letter, I don't know what the name of the font is for the name and position specifically, but it's definitely of that time period, which I think is really cool. And let's show one more from that real quick. We got a Y11 rookie there. So yeah, 71's cool. I don't have enough of them. I got to start buying a few more.
All right. Aaron.
All right. I feel.
Pick. Will it be a valid real pick and not a cheater?
Hey now.
All right, here we go.
Sort of. Well, I'm actually going 71, but I'm not going. I'm not going 71 Topps. I'm going 71 O-Pee-Chee. And to me, the back of the O-Pee-Chees are so ridiculously cool that makes the Thurman Munson iconic card even that much more awesome. I don't have enough of those, but I feel like some of them go for crazy premiums and some are pretty much like Topps prices. So when I get a chance, if I can make it a little extra cool, I do. So it's a couple I pulled for that, but I thought the O-Pee-Chees should be represented. So Steven will be happy.
Well, apparently John was so overwhelmed by that choice, his internet seemed to have dropped him off. I don't know. So hopefully he comes back on before it's his turn again.
Yes.
All right. So that'd be my number 2 choice. And after enough inspection of staring at them, I have gone with 1975.
Boo.
Just love.
I just booed. My first boo of the entire broadcast. So there you go.
Well, they're a little more colorful than your pick there. So
That Blyleven's awesome.
yeah, the Blyleven is really sweet. So yeah, but all right. And John is back. There we go. All right.
Sorry
so
about that, guys. My restarted there.
No worries. Got you back in time. So everybody, we're going to be headed into our number one car. Did everybody put their number one choice for the 70s in the chat already? So if not,
Yes.
throw that up there. So
I've been putting them up bit by bit.
all right. Because we are on to Dan's number one selection. And here we go.
So yeah, I agree with Aaron. I think that the backs are better for O-Pee-Chee. But the 71 O-Pee-Chee printing on the front is not as clean. They have issues. They had quality issues, quality control issues throughout that time frame. And I don't think the set is complete. I'm not sure that they go all the way to 727. Am I right about that? Or am I wrong about that? So I kind of had to go with tops. So if you know this card, you know that I recently did a show on the 52 in-action, game action shots that are in this set. And it's the first time that any card company did that in such such a amount of cards. And the shots from the games, some of them are just amazing. Obviously, the Munson is the most well-known, and it's maybe the best card of the 1970s. But I actually love this one. Shout out to Tony Southern Collector, who put this in his top 5, I think, of the set. So it's just a great action shot. I love all the the lowercase is interesting with the name and the position. You got the bold team on top. They got some good colors. The black borders are problems for quality, but they're not problems for for aesthetics. I think they look fantastic. So I think 1971 is the best set of the decade. 71 tops. Sorry.
All right. Up next, we're back to John, number one for 1970s.
I don't know why I didn't pull out I have Munson for O-Pee-Chee and tops from 71. I don't know why I didn't pull either one out, but I didn't. But I pulled them out for this because this is my favorite set. And I think you can make the argument that it's the best set of the decade. You really can. This is a totally biased pick because it's the first set I collected. And so this set just means a lot to me. But I also think it's very clean and some of the photography is excellent. A lot of the photography is excellent. And I don't know. It just I think the kind of coming up with the calligraphy as the main kind of creative component and let the photos do the talking. The All-Star Shield is also a very nice touch for the way they did All-Stars. It is really subtle and cool, I think. I think that Carew card is fantastic. One of his best, in my opinion. And then my favorite card of the set, which I've mentioned on my channel, is I think ironic because George Brett was like super villain for Yankee fans back then. But it's just such a cool card. So, I don't know. There's just something about 78. I think a combination of photography, simple, clean look, the baseball position, I think, was just a nice creative touch. And it's just, I just think it's a strong set. It's got good rookies in it. Or at least a few really good rookies. And yeah, that's number one for me. Always will be.
All right. Solid choice. Aaron, you're up.
Well, I think you guys sold me on the 71 tops being the best set, and I actually agree because of the action shots, the black borders. But I already showed the O-Pee-Chee, so I decided that the greatest moments should be my favorite set. So the action shots, the individual. Is that cheating?
No, he's just going oddball.
It's a separate set. I researched to make sure this wasn't considered some kind of like hybrid or offshoot. It's literally a separate set. So this is where my world lives. So I went ahead and went with still a Thurman Munson. I think it's the best Thurman Munson of the decade. I think the O-Pee-Chee might be second or top second, but these actually, and I was kind of joking with John. I said, said, okay, if I'm a back collector, the back of these are fantastic. So the local paper as a headline. So a little bit different take, but they're mass distributed. It's not like it's a one of one or something. That's not trying to throw a monkey wrench into the game, but to me, that's
really
a
cool card
that I've been focusing on.
Well, Theo, who started out controversial in this, thinks you're winning, so I'm not so sure that's a great badge to have. But there is one viewer that's still on the 80s, so I think he probably ET collectors scroll ahead. We're in the 70s, man.
Yeah, maybe he's a little behind. Slow internet, but all right. For my cards to close out the 70s, I am finding that apparently I am still a sucker for color matching because I ended up going with 76 Topps. Love how they did that with these cards to match their uniforms so nicely. So, but,
which I like those player icons more than the 73 ones. Just to put that.
Oh yeah.
There.
Yeah, the 73,
nice
besides just being bland, the player icons aren't as good as these either. So,
yeah, cool cards.
But all right, we are now going to hit the 1960s. All right, enough, Theo. You can't even get your math right. You had Chris completely screw up all the formulas, and you couldn't recover from it. Come on, this is an upgrade, and look at all these cards we're showing. We're showing cards here.
I'm the one trolling him. He's beating up on you. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I don't know.
Come on.
All right. So your number 3 card for the 1960s. Number 3 set there.
So flex again. I could have pulled out a sort of more random 67 because 67 is a really solid set. I think it's my third favorite because the other two are just better sets. But I think it's really, really a solid set from start to finish. It's got those 2 amazing rookies. The high numbers are challenging, but that makes it kind of cool. The colors are good. The photographs are good. 68 and 69, they had problems, Topps contract problems with the players union. So those have all kinds of issues. The 67 wasn't really, didn't have that problem. So I don't know. I just feel like it's of that decade, third is about right for this set.
All right. That leads into John. All right, number 3.
67 just missed it for me. It's fourth. This is again going to be like it's a combination of best but favorite too. And again, it's simple, clean. That's just you're going to hear that from me. You've already heard it from me ad nauseum. But this might be an unpopular pick, but I like 61 Topps. Now there's a lot of bland hatless shots in this set as there were in a lot of 60 sets from Topps, but I don't know. Again, I like the use. The color isn't overdone. They let some of the photos kind of, when they're pretty good, they just let them kind of, lead the way. I love the red sleeveless jerseys, so I just pulled this one out for Frank Robinson MVP here. So 61 Topps sneaks in the third for me. There's also some really cool subsets in that main set as well, and the All-Stars are a pretty tough group to get, high numbers, and they're pretty nice looking.
Now, Clemente Collector is biased because he got a lot of those from his dad because his dad collected that set, so he's not a valid person to listen to. So
yeah,
I'm
John,
sorry. That was a bad choice.
You were convincing me up until the time Theo posted that, so...
Yeah, I'd have that one 9 or 10 on my 60s list of Topps cards. Sorry.
Ouch.
But,
oh yeah, I knew it would be an unpopular pick.
All right. Each their own.
All right. Well, I'm trying to play, like I said, I told John I actually pulled several different options, so I'll try and play a little more by the rules for you guys. So I don't want to go too far off the rails. For number 3, I will pull, and actually I feel like this set gets some hate. Maybe it's my 87 Topps love, but 62. And one of the reasons I like this set so much is my LK line is actually, it's going to show up well enough screen, but it's a Venezuelan.
Yep.
So I like the fact you can go traditional Topps, or you can get into a Venezuelan issue and still have the same look. But I think there's some fantastic images. The Maris is great. The Mantle's fine. But K-Line, there's some really neat ones within that set. So I actually like the 62.
Well, you did have 87 Topps in your top 3 also. So
right. Yeah. I guess wood grain does it for me.
Yep. You got programmed as a child to like that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. The design of them, I think it does get ripped a lot for having like the little peeled off image on the side, like you're peeling off the picture or something. But I think it's cool. I mean, it's different. It's not like every other set. So to me, it stands out.
All right. My number 3 choice, I actually went with the same set as Dan. I kind of like where you get the full-size photo across the card, and the big block letters are cool, on the regular cards in the set, as opposed to the rookie that he showed. It's relatively simple with the name at the top, but nice full-size photos on those ones. So all right.
Yeah, 67 is a strong set for sure.
All right, Dan's number 2 pick.
I know all you centering crazy people are going to look at this and cringe, but it is Mickey Mantle. And anyway, it's off center, sure. But this set, I really like the flags. I know some people don't. The name is solid. The position is there. You get a good quality photograph. The colors are good. I think this is really just Topps kind of getting it right. So I think it's the second best set of the 60s.
That's definitely a great design. So, which we might see again here, right? But we'll see. John, it didn't flip. There we go.
Number 2 for me was actually kind of a tough pick between 2 and 1 for me. I think I could go either way on these if you ask me next week. But for today, number 2 of the 60s is 1963 Topps. I like the way they do the last names, a little larger, decently larger than the first name. The inset photo is a nice touch. Of course, they kind of honored it in 83 Topps. The 2 examples I pulled both used the light blue bottom, but they had multiple colors for this bottom blue bar or bottom color bar. Yellow looks very nice. There's red. I think there's green as well. I really like this Buck Blasters card, so I just wanted to show it. I think it's the only Clemente card I pulled out, so that's why I wanted to show it for this. But 63 I think is just a really, really solid set in terms of design. Lots of good photos. Like the Mantle 63 is one that I really want to get. I love that particular mantle, and there's just lots of good ones in that set.
I think I came in with that one at number 4, so it just missed. And yeah, mine are a yellow and a green on the bottom, which do look nice. So nice choice. All right, Aaron.
Cool. Well, I think I'm going to just fall in line with you guys. I also agree 1967 has to be somewhere on the list. And again, not to
I
Not to
thought
throw
that
the-
was Venezuelan again with the fade nature of it there.
Yeah. Well, and I did pull just to support the 67. If you go Venezuelans, the cool thing is you can get like Winter League images.
Yep.
And you can also obviously the Reiterato set, which is super cool to be able to get some players that are retired and historical
That's an
within
awesome
the 67 set. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so 67, if you go Venezuelan, is probably by far the best, but 67 in general, I think, has to be in the top 3 for sure. So,
All right. I know I provide the slideshow, but I swear I did not copy Dan. I had my rankings already beforehand, but yeah. So here we go. 65.
Yeah, those are nice cards.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
Really
the
nice ones.
banner, the pennant on there, and yeah, just nice design. So yeah. So once again, yes, Greg, 4 collectors, 1 opinion. You can say that again. I saw your comment.
Oh, I didn't see that. I would have put it up because he's here to troll me. So.
Oh yeah, and Theo, that's what he's going to do nonstop for both of us. So, or at least me especially. So, all right, there we go. Number 1 pick there. Oh, I forgot to ask everybody what is their number 1 pick, but
They've been chiming in the whole time.
Sure,
I've been bouncing them in. So the thing that bugs me about 1960, and it's part of the reason I haven't built the set, is there's so many print defects on these cards. But Clemente is pretty clean, and there's some other cards that aren't. Print dots, smears, that kind of stuff. So you end up with a beautiful design. If you're okay with horizontal cards, beautiful design. You got the logo for the team. You got the extra little action shot. And then you've got some beautiful shots. I just think that the way that they put this set together, if they had just been able to execute it, it would have been maybe one of the best top sets of all time. But in terms of the 60s, I think it's number 1.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it feels like it's still a continuation of the ingenuity of the 50s, still continued with this set. So, or even more of a revival, because 58 and 59 are kind of weak, but so yeah, that's a great choice for number 1. All right, John, you're up.
I'm going to be the contrarian on that. I get hung up on the lettering on 1960 tops, and I always have. So it's a bottom half of the decade set for me. I think it's a bit polarizing. It's an original set design for sure, and so points for creativity there. It just doesn't quite work for me overall. But number 1 for me is, and we've seen the set already. Number 1 for me is 1965 tops. I just thought it was very well executed. I like how they not just have a pennant, or banner there with the team name, kind of fluttering, with the banner itself, but they are able to put the logos in there as well. They're able to just kind of work them all in, kind of effortlessly, naturally. It doesn't look forced, like they're cramming things in there. It's just well done. And then here's one of my favorite cards of all time, actually, and I've spoken about this card a lot. I just, 2 examples of different approaches with color on these 2. I just think they're beautiful cards. This is one of Topps' best sets that they've ever done, in my opinion. So 65.
Right,
and the backs are super cool too. I love the lettering on the backs of the names and the top part. I just love that, like comic book style. Just really, really cool.
65 is still obviously a solid choice, since 2 of us here had it number 2. So, all right, Aaron, number 1 for the 60s.
Well, you're going to kick me off again here. I'm not I wasn't trying to be a cheater here. I was going with stuff that I thought was somewhat mainstream, but I figured when we go in the 20s, 30s, 40s, there is no like mainstream. So I was doing the same idea here. But with 60s, I went 64 tops, but I went stand-ups.
That's legit. I think that's legit.
Yeah, it's a cool choice.
But the chat thinks you're cheating again, so
that's okay. It's what I do, right?
but they also think you're winning.
Well, sometimes you got to cheat to win.
This is not a competition.
Yeah, no. We're all winning because we're all seeing cool cards. But to me, the color match, that Ernie Banks is about as good as it gets for the entire decade for me. And it's not a big expensive card. It's just the image is amazing. If you get in close on Ernie, like that's phenomenal. So for me, the colors, they're super vibrant, and the way I collect too, the lower grade ones look just as good as a high grade one to me. So as long as they're not popped out and destroyed and super mangled, 2s, 3s, 4s look phenomenal to me. So I'm a big fan of 64 top stand-up. So.
Me too. Somebody just shouted out the Koufax, which I literally have within arm's length. So excellent. There we go. Good
yeah,
call
bunch
out.
of them are cool. Maze is great. Aaron's great. Spawn, like there's a ton of cool ones in there. Actually, I guess I do have one other. I have Brooks Robinson too, but I think all of them are just fantastic. Even in a Beckett slab, it's still good. So, 20% Beckett slab.
No, they're good looking cards. It's a valid choice. So, all right, to close out the 1960s. Anyone have a guess of what I chose? Because
1960.
Yeah, I haven't veered from this one. This is the first vintage set I even fell in love with, and I still think it's the best of the decade. So, yeah. So there we go. 1960 tops for the win.
Both great cards.
All right. Which gotta love a back damage one when you're out trying to buy a mantle.
Greg is rolling his eyes, and Theo thinks you're cheating. So,
oh well.
But their show was just great.
Right.
Wasn't it?
So we are about to enter the 50s. Did anyone else agree that this was by far the hardest decade of everything? I mean, it just feels like there's so many innovative and unique design choices between the two major companies and dog food and, just
hot dogs.
Yeah, it's so. Oh, so
this is a tough one.
Okay. Thanks, Mookie. All right, so we are into the 1950s, and it is number 3 choice for Dan first. Here we go. Speaking of dog food.
I agree with you, John. There's a lot of really good sets in the 50s you can choose from. Besides the Bowman Tops duo, there's also some really great, food issues or hot dog issues, potato chip issues. It's really, they call it the golden age, and it really is the golden age. I just did a show last week with the Drew on the 54 Red Hearts, and he and I both believe that this is one of our favorite cards ever. I hate to put it third, but when you see the two sets that come in front of it, I think I feel pretty good. So, yeah.
There you go. I figured you appreciate that comment, Dan, so I threw that one up there.
If this is not one of the greatest cards ever made, then I don't know baseball cards. I mean, besides the red, which of course fits perfectly with the Cardinals, you got Stan looking terrific. You've got the background. You've got the simple layout with the little triangle in the middle, and it's just a great set. And it's only 33 cards, so if you want to build it, you can build it pretty quickly. So I'm happy to put this in my top 3. I wish I could put it higher, but you'll see the next 2.
Looks like John got bumped again. There we go. He's back. All right.
Yeah,
So,
I'm back. I'm sorry, guys. The second time it says my Chromebook's restarted unexpectedly. I don't know what's going on with it tonight. It doesn't seem hot or anything, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Just got
But
overwhelmed initially by that OPG Munson, and now by this Red Heart
yeah, all these
Visual.
amazing cards, just too much to handle.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm assuming it's my turn
Yep.
for this then. Okay, so I'm actually really glad that Dan showed the Red Heart because as number 3, because that was going to be, it was between Red Heart and this other one that I was about to show, and I did not go with the Red Heart. It just missed at the end. I don't own a Red Heart card yet. And here's the thought with me: if they were all red backgrounds, it would be number 3. But I'm not really enamored with the blue and green backgrounds. I mean, it's super colorful, but for some reason, and it's not just because the dog food's called Red Heart and they're blue and green backgrounds, the cards don't work quite as well to me than the reds, which are amazing. So I ended up going with, and I've gradually accumulated. I probably have about a dozen slabs from this set now, and it's 59 tops. I think 59 tops is super fun. It's original with the porthole and the lowercase first name. Again, it's sort of a continuation of 58, where they kind of had the full kind of color and the background. They just put a big hole in it this time. I'm gonna flex this one time and show this. I just got this back this week.
Yes.
Did a video about it, so figured I'd show here
the
for a few
upcharge.
seconds. But 59 is a fun set. Yeah, it's pretty blown away by it, to be honest. But yeah, 59 is a cool set. There's a lot of good cards, a lot of great cards in that set. In my opinion, the Ernie Banks is one I don't have yet, and I absolutely love that card with the green and him catching the ball. I just think it's a great card.
All right, interesting choice there. Aaron, you're up.
I like Petty's comment. Well, now I went safe. What's going on here? It's Bizarro world. So 50s, my third place. I also went with a nice stand, but I decided 53 Bowman was just too classic, too big of a set, too many great images. Design, it really is just. It's funny. I think John's a fan of colors, and I think I'm a fan of images. So for me, these images are just hard to pass on. And I think to do a top 3, it's hard to leave 53 Bowman out. So I threw it in there.
That's a great choice. All right. I ended up going with one of the sets that really grew on me once I had my own copies. And it's going to be 1952 Bowman. And I just find this one the best of the 50, 51, 52 Bowman art sets. The 51, the black box is just a little awkward, whereas the subtle facsimile signature here is a little nicer. And the 50 Bowman being smaller is at a disadvantage. But yeah, just love the artistry of these cards. So all right, Dan, you're up with your second choice now.
So a couple of weeks ago on some YouTube channel that I never heard of, 4 clowns got on and said 1956 was like the 5th best set of the decade. And I think I blocked all of them after that and forgot all their names. But now 56 tops is the best top set of the decade. You've got the name and the position and the team all in that nice little thing over in the corner. You got a big, nice, very most of them are very complimentary. Some of them aren't. But these, the what do you call them? The above headshots are all nice. And then you get a little bonus extra action shot, some of which are really cool. I think it's the Eddie Matthews shows him like slaughtering Pee Wee Reese at second base. That's a cool one. The Call Ferrello card has a play at the plate from the 1953 World Series with Yogi Berra in it. I mean, I don't understand how anybody could choose this as not being the top set. But then, of course, I know all those four guys that were on that show are all challenged. So, we'll have to put up with them a little bit longer. But 56 is my second choice. So, and you'll know what my next one is. My number one choice for the decade is not a top set, but this is the best top set.
Well, do we really know for sure if it was fifth because of the math errors? I mean, that's why we want to simplify things. Let's just show cards, forget math. So, all right.
I think this guy figured out how to set up his computer again and click on some buttons. I don't know how he got in here.
Yep.
This Christmas.
His wife helped him. So,
oh, there we go. At the old age home, they have internet hour.
Yeah. All right, let's get John up there.
56, the action shots look great, but I just can't get past the repetitive portraits. But it's a beautiful set for sure. Because they repeated them from 54, 55, and 56 for several players. But it's a really cool set. Number 2 for me is, and we've seen it already here, it's 53 Bowman color. Just the photography on these are just incredible. Leo DeRocher, I got him there, and then I want to show 2 more. Larry Doby, which is a really cool card, and then similar shot, but absolutely love this in Yankee Stadium. Al Rosen. I'm very partial to this card. I wanted to make a point to get this specific card because of a story I told on my channel a couple of times, but probably not in a while. Basically, Al Rosen helped get me into my first baseball game when I was 5 years old. So, if you want me to tell it, if you haven't heard it before, I could really quick. If you'd like, it'll take a minute. But basically, in 1978, Rosen was president of the Yankees at the time. And my dad was a New York City taxi driver in the Bronx and drove yellow cabs still at the time. And they actually had the Yankees call them regularly. They were an account of theirs at the company he drove for. And he had players on occasion once in a while. It was usually employees. And one day he had Al Rosen in the car. Apparently they struck up a really good conversation. And Rosen hooked him up with 2 tickets for a game. August 26th of 78 against Oakland. And my dad and I sat in the second row behind the Oakland dugout. So it was
nice,
pretty amazing first memory of a ball game. So
that is great.
Sweet.
Very cool.
All right, Aaron, your number 2 pick.
All right, number 2. I think some people might put this number 1. I am going to go 1954 Topps. I think for all the reasons. Signature, I think the large color image, but I've actually been really fascinated with the little black and white images of the players. So you got Hank Fielding, the logos, everything about it's cool. And even this is considered one of the more iconic, and it's got the typical 54 bad cut, but I've had it since I was like 10 or 11 years old, so I'm going to keep it forever. The interesting thing of this, when you really look at this, it's considered one of the most beautiful cards. It's white. Like, they did very little to make this exciting. It's just that great of a design that you have a huge image of Ernie, and you've got one of him hitting, and even like the Cub logo is just amazing. So how do you not put 54 Topps somewhere there? At least in my world. That's my number 2.
Looking set. All right. After a lot of deliberation, I finally came to the decision to put this one number 2. And kind of the one that really kicked things off for Topps. Went with the 52 set, with having the name, with the signature, the logos, nice big picture, and just works. Yeah, put the company on the map. They were rolling
Just a
from
game
there.
changer. Absolute game changer.
So, all right, and I do have both back color samples.
Nice.
So
Cool.
Well played.
all right, we are to the number one pick for the decade. Does everybody throw out what should be the number one pick in the chat already? Or
there have been a lot of people basically criticizing us, but some people are going with their picks. But that's okay.
Well, I did say Chris there did mention I'm not necessarily a mouth breather. So,
but yeah, my number one selection for this decade is, I guess, kind of an obvious one when you flip to it.
There it is.
So this, of course, is the greatest baseball card ever made by mankind. So you have to select this set, and that's not even that. And I have the mantle, and I didn't even put the mantle in the slideshow because the mantle is the second best card of the set, or arguably top 5 in the set. But so you've got, I guess it was like 3 or 4 photographers who were like professional photographers from like Sport Magazine and all these other places. And they come out to Yankee Stadium, the Polo Grounds, and I guess there's a couple other shots and there's some spring training shots, but they take these amazing photographs that just capture, the wreath is not one of those, but the mantle is. It's one of those photographs captured just striking. I mean, they're art. The entire set is this way. Well, 160 cards are like this. And to me, yeah, people complain, oh, they don't have the name and the photograph. They don't have the name and the team and the position on the front. Well, they have these beautiful backs that you could, even if you wanted to, when you were a little kid back then, put the stats in. So shout out to Mookie on that. But I don't know. I feel like these cards are, in terms of art, the greatest cards ever created. And this is the greatest card ever created. And I'm a pre-war guy, So I feel like 53 Bowman has to be the number one set for the decade. And I know you guys picked it, less than number one, but certainly in the top 3. But it's my number one.
Well, I upgraded that card right there. So
look at the corners on that.
But yeah, didn't you always want to know who the guy on the ground was? Turns out I'm a time traveler. This was an alternate photo from the same shoot. So
interesting.
All right. Up next, it is John's turn.
All right. This is probably not much of a surprise, but we've talked about me in color, and I've also talked about this set a lot on my channel because I collected the whole thing. It's 54 tops. I just think it's 53 Bowman's an amazing set, but and it always will be. But I don't know. There's just something about this set, 54 tops, that the way they, brought in the position and the logo and the dual images with color. But at the same time, as Aaron was just talking about, the Ernie Banks card, just a plain white border background, but it's so there's just so much. I don't know. It just works. It's such a complete card. These are just like complete cards, in my opinion. But yet they're not, to me, they're not busy. They're not loud. They're just like, I don't know. They're just like, I don't know, how, complete just comes to mind there. They just work. And the color selections are great. This one here might well be my favorite card in the set, the Whitey Ford. They're just gorgeous, in my opinion. Not having a top border has never been an issue with me. It's just, to me, it's just an interesting, it wasn't even really a design thing. It just had to do with the way they cut the cards. But it just works for me in every which way. So 54 tops is it for me.
All right.
John, you just took a hit.
Polarizing choice after Theo.
What did I do?
You drank Theo's Kool-Aid.
Yeah, what flavor
It was
was
a
it?
good
I don't know.
question.
It was pretty good, I guess.
When you're done, John. Oh, I'm sorry, Aaron's going. My bad.
No.
No, I've shown the card. I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Aaron's number one card for the 50s.
Jason just threw me the alley-oop there. To me, it's almost a 54 knockoff or just variant, but
The Wilson.
yeah, you gotta go Wilson. So I mean, you basically take 54 tops, swap out maybe a little black and white image of the player, and put some hot dogs on there, and you got the exact same looking card. So the images are just phenomenal for it not being like a mainstream issue. The back is a legit card. That impresses the heck out of me. And just like Ernie, you can get Ted.
Fantastic card.
That's as simple as it gets. It's just Ted hitting some hot dogs. Like that's just as good as it gets. So for me, I am gonna go Wilson Franks. I do factor in the back, and the fact it's a legit card is really impressive for what it was. I'm good on that. That's a clear winner for me.
All right.
I have thoughts after John 3D 80s kid goes. I have thoughts.
What are your regarding what topic?
54 flying hot dogs cards. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So 54 for me, the vertical layout is really nice. The solid color's all right. The layout ends up making it a little crowded for me, where you end up with a lot of overlap with the other alternate photo on top of the main image. And even then the signature part gets muddled in there as well. Then 56, you got the image there. They took away the team logo. The signature, you can hardly read any of them because they're on top of so much photo stuff. So I feel like the design element reached the pinnacle with the 55 set. I love the color progression across the cards. The big photos pop. The signatures are completely readable. They've got the logos on there. To me, it's the pinnacle of those three sets. So
two great examples right there.
I love both of these cards. So there we go.
Very cool. I do like the Jackie in particular there, the way they grab the 50 Bowman photo of him to use as the action pose.
Oh yeah, that is a great shot on that one.
I think that's 50 Bowman.
All right, since you got some thoughts, so let's make you big, Dan.
Yeah, I think that with the Wilson Franks, the design is terrific. The pictures are terrific. The back is terrific, but they're freaking flying hot dogs in the card, and half of the guys look like they're reacting to it. Campanella looks like he's scared of them. I think somebody looks like they're about to eat them. They're flying hot dogs. You can't have a number one set with flying hot dogs in it. I'm sorry. I love you, Aaron, but this time the chat may like you, but I don't agree with you at all. So there you go.
Hey John, you should have like for a future for collectors, you should have like a thing that flashes rant while someone just sort of takes the soapbox for a minute.
Sure, I'll get a button to figure that out. Awesome. Okay.
I'll accept the criticism, and everyone has to be wrong at some point, so that's okay. That's okay.
All right. So we are to the 1940s, which is a very different decade with the dark period there in the middle of it. So, unless you count 43 MP and Company as a valid set, but most people would not. But so Dan is up with his number 3 choice there. There we go.
All right, I pulled an Aaron. I cheated a little.
No cheating.
The 40s are tough to pick top 3 sets. I left out one set that everybody's going to give me a hard time about, although I did pick out one. And the reason is because I looked at that card and then I looked at this card, which was sitting right next to it in my display. And I said, which one do I like better? And frankly, I like the Tip Top Red better. And they're tough cards to get, but they're just so simple and they fit the decade perfectly. It's a decade of austerity. It's a decade of sacrifice. And when you get a baseball card with a picture that's that good and simple, and the back, is a nice ad for some bread, I think it's actually a really cool card. And I chose it number 3 because I think the other set that I left out, people have issues with that aren't necessarily design related. They're quality control related. So I'm going to stick with Tip Top. 47 Tip Top is my number 3 choice.
All right. Yeah, I think you're going to take a load of ration there for missing a set. But all right, John. Let's see your number.
Dan, you're on a roll right now. I think I think that was a really, really cool. Just sort of mentioning to that set. Number 3 for me is this is actually maybe one of the easiest ones for me to rank 3, 2, 1 this decade. Just there weren't as many options. But number 3 for me is the 49 Leaf. So. And this is the only 49 Leaf card I currently have. So this will be the only one I show. But yeah, I mean, it's just, again, it's those colors that just really worked on a lot of these. This happens to be a really nice 1.5. It's pretty hard to find the creasing in this card. I can't remember if there's paper loss or not. I don't think there is. It's a crazy 1.5. But anyway, Leaf is to me an iconic set and very worthy of top 3 for the decade. And I wouldn't be surprised if either any of you have a number 1. So
I guess we'll wait and see on that one. How about you, Aaron? Number 3. Right.
Well, you said 40, so I finally got a chance to go pre-war, so we did. And I went black and white. Black and white does not bother me, but 1940 went play ball.
Nice.
So you get Ted's second card. You get some really great cards in this set, but one of my favorite things, I'm trying to work on the entire Hall of Fame run for 40 play ball. Need a couple more. They did all these throwbacks to players that were retired. So you get a ton of Hall of Famers and even some borderline guys like a shoeless Joe Jackson that is slightly more affordable. So the chance to pick up something like that for 40 play ball is super cool for me. And obviously
that card costs way more than it should.
No way.
Damn.
I think in a 2 it should be going up in price. That's what I think right now.
But for it to be a 1940 card of him to cost that much is But
48 Leaf Babe Ruth. I mean, they are what they are.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah, I think there's simplicity. I like black and white. Some people don't, but I'm good with that.
No, I am down with the black and white because that's what's going to be here in my first choice. And I went with what I think is the best bread set of the decade. 47 Bond bread here, where I've got Joe DiMaggio and Joe Gordon. So nice, simple design and full picture on those. So
really, really nice. But DiMaggio's beautiful.
Yeah, I lucked out finding this one with back damage for a blank back to give it a 1. So
for a blank back, who cares? Yeah.
Exactly. All right.
Very cool.
Honest corners. Leveled corners.
All right. Number 2 for Dan. There we go.
So, this kind of plays into what Aaron was talking about. And I used to like the 40 play ball better because I thought it was more honest with the black and white, and the 41 kind of, there's colorization obviously, but I don't know. There's a bunch of cards in this set that just blow me away, and this is one of them. Dolph Camilli was the he was actually the National League MVP in 1941, so this is an MVP card. So I don't know. I just feel like 40 has too many cards. It's 240 cards. This set has like 70 something cards in it, and I think that the colorization is sometimes hit or miss, but when they hit it, they really nail it. And if you get a card like this in your set, you deserve a design award. So I'm choosing number 2. I'm choosing 41 play ball, which me of 5 years ago would have definitely disagreed with me of this night.
All right. Nice choice there. Okay. Back to, there we go. And John is up.
All right. My second choice is we're going to stick with play ball, but we're going to have another vote for 1940. I just happen to like the black and white. I like the Art Deco. It's much more Art Deco to me with the extra design work that's on here in terms of the framing. But yeah, I just love the lettering of the name, and I really like the pennant for the Yankees and Reds cards. I just think that's a cool touch that I don't know why there are World Series cards and, that Topps did pretty much every year, but not like on the actual player's base card, so to speak. So I think that's just a neat little touch that I can't recollect if it's been done since then. So I thought that was really, it's a cool little extra there, along with some really, really great imagery. So,
all right.
And it just speaks to the decade. Yeah, speaks to that time.
Good choice. Aaron, you're up with your second pick.
All right, second pick. I thought I would have to go with the set that's tough to leave out. only one of us might be leaving that one out from what I understand, but yeah, it happens. 48, 49, whatever we're going to call it. It's really 49 Leaf, so PSA just didn't know what they were doing back then. But the images, Ted, Joe, Stan, you get all the kind of classics. And then just like 40, the colors, everything else, but also the chance to pick up, Honus Wagner and Babe Ruth. And you get some really cool images. Honus Wagner is really cool because he's actually using tobacco, which gets into the, T206 pulling his card issues and some of the backstory of that. But to me, and that Babe Ruth, actually, that's a John special because the front, I think, looks not one-ish, but somebody put it in a scrapbook or something back in the day. So
gorgeous.
I'll take it. Yeah, that looks better than a 1. So it's a nice Ruth, and I am a big fan of post-playing days cards if they are in sets that are scarce and if I already own them. So they should go up in value. That's what I say.
Nice.
No, I think it's a great set.
Aaron, I thought we were friends.
All right. Now, when Dan was talking, I was like so eerie. It was like, get out of my head. About the only thing he said that I would change would be instead of 5 years ago, it would be 2 years ago. And there we go, because I got a hold of this card here.
Yep.
And changed my view. Because this one, the color just works. The banners, that's incredible in hand. I don't know how well you see it through the camera here, but this card's just freaking gorgeous to me. So
I also really like the shadow on that card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It just adds that much more to it. It's just a nice extra. Yeah.
All right. Okay, Mookie.
Now
all right. I'll change it up here with my number 1 pick at least. So there you go. I'll be redeemed. Okay. Dan's number one pick. Let's see where he's going, since we know he's not going where other people might go. So, all right, interesting.
I feel like this is the beginning of modern baseball cards. I have the whole 48 Bowman set, but it's black and white and it's really basic. But they really, really stepped it up a notch for 49 with the coloring of these photographs. And you know, like the hit or miss with 41 in the colorization, these don't really miss. I don't really know of any bad 1949 Bowman cards. And this one in particular is just, to me, you know, it's Spawn, it's baseball, it's Braves, it's 40s. It's just got everything going on. So I feel like 49 Bowman. And, you know, I didn't include the Leaf set. I don't own a Jackie Robinson Leaf card. I probably never will. But I think if you put the 49 Bowman Jackie Robinson next to the 49 Leaf Jackie Robinson, and you take out all the rarity and all the other issues, the 49 Bowman is objectively a better card. And to me, that kind of changes the nature of what card is, what set has the best design. If you can compare two very, very high-end cards, iconic cards, and say which one is better, I think the 49 Bowman is better. And I think it's the best set in the 40s.
FYI, I think the rarity is a myth, because if you look at the pop counts of those two cards, they are very close. So, just FYI. They're both like 2,000 something. So, but all right, we are up with John's number one pick. What just happened?
I think John is frozen
again. Is that why it keeps bouncing off him? Oh, yes, he is frozen.
I do have another set if you want. Oh, he's back. Okay.
All right, we got you back.
I hope it's the last time that that happens, because
I'm amazed that the 49 Bowman Spawn was what kicked you off this time.
It must have sensed my anticipation to show my number one set.
Okay.
Which am I on? Oh, there I am. Okay, I didn't see
you are
that.
up.
Cool. Apologies, guys. Again, this has not happened before on a live stream for me. But anyway, I concur. 49 Bowman is number one as well. I just think the use of color and the images, they just, I don't have too many of these cards. I only have like 3 or 4, and I only have a second one here to show in a second, but they're spot on. They're just this. I love this feller. I absolutely love this card. Backs are perfectly fine enough, but it's the fronts that really do it. I picked this card up yesterday.
Oh wow!
For just $12 at my one of my LCSs. It's got a very small wrinkle over here. Oh gosh, I can't read it right over here. It's very hard to see. I'm assuming. Do you guys know who it is?
Mickey Vernon.
It's Mickey Vernon. Mickey Vernon, yeah. So, Hall of Famer, but man, that's just a really great baseball card. Color is just amazing on this. So, yeah, 49 Bowman just has too many good cards for me not to make it number one.
All right. These are surprising number one choices to me, at least. I didn't even ponder that set in my list, honestly. Oof. So.
Oh, I should say, I actually just won an auction tonight on CIA for a 49 Bowman.
Okay.
I pulled it up really quick if you want to see it. Yeah. I won a really beat up Yogi Berra.
Nice. That's a nice one from that set.
That is a great Berra card.
Yeah.
Congrats. I have one of those classics where the front is terrific and the back has paper laws.
Excellent. Winning formula.
Yeah, it's got a paper loss going right across his face. That crease is that bad, but
well, Aaron, let's see what your number one pick is.
it's really interesting that you guys picked 49 Bowman because the color scheme of what I picked is almost exactly opposite. And I don't know how many people would actually pick this set. When you think 40s, I picked a 40, I picked a 49, so I wanted something in the middle, which is Warriors. There's not a lot of options, but I really like this set.
Yeah.
The Propaganda Montiel. So, I mean, it's tough. I'm a back person, and I love the fact that you get something that's not in English. So anytime you can get, Spanish, German, got some French cards, like that stuff to me is really, really cool. But it's almost like the reverse. So all the color is on the borders, and then you've got the image as sole focus, which I'm definitely an image collector. And again, those post-playing days cards, so you get a chance to get a Gehrig. There's a Ruth. There's a kind of real rookie maybe of Stan Musial. So for me, that set, partly because of who they are, but having the images, I forgot DiMaggio. I think the images are just so great that the simplicity of it is still amazing to me. So it's my number one for the 40s.
All right, interesting choice there off the beaten path for sure.
Those are awesome. And you just go with card after card, banger after banger there. Those are great.
Yeah, that was a great choice, honestly.
All right, for me,
John, I have another wardrobe change, so I'll be right back. But keep going.
Okay. Well, for the not including it at all, here's a little redemption on the 4 collectors front. I went with 49 Leaf. Okay. I know they weren't always the best at the production quality, but at least in terms of the design, it's just nice. So
yeah.
But
yeah, I think they're iconic, actually. I really do.
Yeah.
Especially, first, post-war. It was, did that come just before 49 Bowman to say first post-war color set?
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, they got issued like early in the year in 49, like April maybe.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah, those colors are amazing.
On the list.
So there we go. All right, so Diamond Stars to match Aaron, huh?
Well, I'm going into the 30s, so I figure I might as well represent.
All right. So I have, one of my choices is I don't own yet, but didn't you have one? I forget. Are you your number 3 choice? Is that what's here, John, in my slideshow?
For me, you're asking?
Yeah.
No, I have all 3 from the 30s.
Okay, it was the 20s. Okay.
The 20s and then the last one after that, Deadball.
All right. So, 1930s, we have got number 3 choice for Dan.
1933 is a sick year for baseball cards. Anywhere from 33 to 36, you get some sets that are just ridiculous. These I have the Grove from this. I have Charlie Grimm, and I had picked out the Cochran because the centering on this is ridiculous. And it's a 2 because it has some staining on the back. But look at the colors on this thing. I mean, it's just the bright yellow, the bright red, Cochran swinging the bat. They got the sort of fake stands behind him. I don't know. I just think this set is truly a work of art. And there's so many bangers in this set, including Dizzy Dean. Like I said, the Grove card that I paid up for. But there's some – and Fox has a great card in this set. I feel like this – it was tough to choose – in the 30s, 3 sets only, but I figured I had to get this one in there. So
this was my second hardest decade. Yeah,
this is my number 3. So,
and this one was a near miss choice for me. So that's a great one to pick. It's just so unique with the red, yellow there. Like on my wall, it just stands out because of that color scheme so much. So. All right. Let's get John going with choice number 3.
Yeah, I absolutely love the tattoo orbits. I know the one I want to get, and I don't own one yet. I just wish they did cards from every team in that set. There are like, I think, at least 4 teams maybe that aren't in that set, and I know one of them's the Yankees. So that makes it a little harder to put on the pedestal for me, but it's a really great set, so I'm glad you showed it. Number 3 for me, and I think it would be potentially a number 2 if they had more cards in the set, but the design is just so cool and so fun, and it's DeLong.
Yeah. Yep.
So I have this one DeLong example of Pepper Martin. And this might be, of the 24 cards in the set, this I think is my favorite card in the set. Yeah, he's not a Hall of Famer. I just love the way he's sliding. He's sort of like taking out all the little guys on the field, you know what I mean? It's just the way I picture it. But I love the red on his socks and on the Cardinals jersey. I just think this is a fantastic card. It's, you know, kind of creative with a red sky, but it's just a very unique design, and the back is cool too. The back's cool with the little baseball tips in terms of getting, you know, playing the game. So here's one for the hook slide. I think these were just really, really cool cards, and really glad to have an example from that set.
Great one.
And I like this one too. It's Gas House Gang era, right around the time that they won year before.
Yep. Good choice.
All right, Aaron.
All right. Well, I decided that my number 3 would have to be what's represented on my shirt. So Diamond Stars, for me, I was up in the air, but I think it's just because I've seen so many of them that I've almost become like accustomed to them being amazing and awesome. But I think if they had a Ruth and a Gehrig, I think this set would be ridiculously popular. But I think missing those 2 holds it back. But the images are just so phenomenal. So there's just a couple of them, but and the back write-ups and the variations and the fact they're different years. You actually have players that switch teams throughout. Some players are issued twice, so you get like a defined variation. Like there's so many cool things about the set in the issuance of it, but the design is just so artistic. It's one of the best sets I think ever made. So, and it's one I have every Hall of Famer, so I'm happy to have that.
For some reason, I think we might see that set again. Just a hunch. All right. All right. For my set, I went off a little off the beaten path here with sort of the oddball set with National Chico, which made the Diamond Stars. And I'm going with the 34-36 batter up, kind of the
great choice.
The parent to those 64 stand-ups.
Yeah.
Grandparent.
So, love the full image you get on these. And honestly, the photo quality on these, just examining it with my other 30 sets, is superior. The ones that are photo cards from the 30s, this has superior photo quality to at least the ones I own. So they just look nice. But
that's fantastic.
All right. We're on to number 2 for Dan. Big boy.
Yeah. So when you take your number 1 Grail card for your entire life, literally, this is the card that I wanted since I was a little kid, and I picked it up in March at the Philly show. I'm proud to own it. It is a 1, but it's mine. I own it, and that's, to me, is amazing. And this card is, I've loved it for 50 years, so I feel like if that's number 2, then number 1 better be pretty damn good. But I don't know. The 33 Goudey set is so important for so many reasons in the baseball card history that you really can't leave it out. And there's some amazing cards in this set, from Ruth and Gehrig all the way down to like Paul Richards and some of those other great cards that just have fantastic design. So I love 33 Goudey. I love this card. It's the most important card in my entire collection. but it has to be number 2 for design. So there you go.
All right, definitely a classic. So we're going with John's number 2 pick next.
All right, we're going to go back to a set we've seen a little while ago, and it's going to be Diamond Stars for me. The Art Deco, to me, is just incredible on these cards. The Art Deco design touch. It's like I almost like the backgrounds on these cards more than the player portraits. It's kind of strange, but it's almost the case. Maybe not quite, but on the Bill Dickey card, I absolutely love the New York on the road jersey there. Just a really, really cool card. I like the lower number.
John, is that the lower number or the higher number?
This is number 11. It's the lower number.
Okay.
Yep. And then I have a Lloyd Wayner that the colors on this, I absolutely love it. I did a video a few weeks ago where I almost bought I think it was a 4. So I almost upgraded from this one, but I decided I didn't need to. So this one's a little dirty, but the colors still jump out enough to me where I just absolutely, every time I take it out and look at it, I just am blown away by the colors of it. I just think it's super fun. Some of these illustrations, like the more full body illustrations, they're not quite as crisp in terms of artistic, the impression of the capturing the player, obviously something that's more like this is, capturing the likeness of the person that much more. But just the use of color and Art Deco touches to go with some great images of the players, to me makes it a easy number 2 for me.
Obviously, there's not much of a disagreement with the panel on that set. So, all right, Aaron, how about you?
All right, I am going to go with where I live my life now, pre-war oversized set. 1939 R303. And I'm going with this for a couple of reasons. We're talking about best looking, so I like images. If you like images, we got Jimmy Fox and Melot. So nice size images for sure. Cool images. But you also can get a black and white and a sepia, however you're going to say that, tone, which is kind of a neat way to get a variation within the same set. And then, like I said, I look at backs. I think having like full-on instructions how to bat and how to umpire.
That is so cool.
I think these are really, really neat. And, pre-war pusher mode, I would say definitely, folks, check this out because it's affordable.
I was wondering when we're going to bust out the oversized.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So there's more coming. But to me, that's a fantastic set. Images, again, missing maybe a couple players, but pretty gosh darn cool sets.
All right. Nice stuff. All right. So with the next set, I did own one, but I no longer do. I have 2 Target cards that I haven't found the ones that connect to me yet with regarding to image and price, condition. But I did make a slide for them now, and there we go, Diamond Stars. So, and yes, that's how they'll end up on my wall side by side, forming the V. So I think that's cool with those ones. So, yeah, I look forward to owning those in the near future. But yeah, everybody's said enough about that set. We all love it in this community, don't we? Does anyone in the chat actually not like Diamond Stars? Speak up, because I haven't seen anybody say they hate that set yet. So,
John, can you give me a solo?
Sure. Oh, there you go.
I like when their gloves are together, and they do display next to each other in my display. So, well, there you go.
I am anal to the point where I arrange them by year. I arrange them by set name with the cards, so they're alphabetical by set name. And then when they're the same set, they are arranged by card number. So this will be the card number arrangement. So,
Oh, yep, 14-16. Yep.
So,
Can't
All
go
right.
wrong either way, in my opinion.
all right. So now we are to Dan's number one choice. Let's see what we got.
No surprise.
Shocker.
Representing the Scott shirt again. Scott's Etsy store, Reindeer Studios. Doesn't pay me, but he pays me in love and kindness. So that's why produces. That's why I go for his stuff. Plus, he's a great guy. Anyway, this is one of the greatest cards ever produced. There are 3 cards in my collection that I think are great works of art. We already saw one of them, which is the 53 Bowman Reese. This is the other one, which is the Diamond Stars Lloyd Wainer. Lloyd Wainer's a Hall of Famer. He's a lower level Hall of Famer. He wasn't as good as his older brother. But this card is greater than any card that his brother ever had. So it's a piece of art. The coloring, the pose, it's like ballet to me. So I feel like this card has to propel a set that has so many cards in it that are just such great works of art. It just has like the feel of the 30s, the Art Deco, the cities in the background. I should give a shout out to Mitchell, who did the show with me on my Diamond Stars show about 2 months ago, who knows a ton about this set, and showed me things that I hadn't seen before. But I think that in a decade of amazing sets, that Diamond Stars is just a little bit better than the rest of them. So I put it at number 1.
All right. Excellent choice. Obviously, we all like it. So,
I have to ask if this card is this card in the Baseball Card Hall of Fame that Ray from Philly oversees? Because if it isn't,
Not that I'm aware
probably
of.
vote for it.
It should be, shouldn't it? Because
Yeah.
I mean, just out of someone who doesn't own it yet and analyzing the price, it's actually a higher priced Lloyd Wainer card because of it being kind of popular for the design. So, he's got a few cards that are in really rare sets that cost a lot, but in terms of, some sets where they should cost more in a different set, they're actually cheaper. So, because this one gets a premium. So, but, all right, we are to John's number one choice for the 30s.
All right. So, John, I know when you first came to us for this, I think I saw the word best was sort of like the word we were trying to use to describe. And, best can, whether it's, I think it's best because it's my favorite or best because I think the set design is amazing. So it's a little bit of all of the above. But in this case, I'm going, in some ways, it's like best because it's the best in that it's the most important set of the decade and one of the most important sets of all time, and that's 33 Goudey. So that's going to be my number 1. And, we just talked about works of art. I have referred to this Bill Terry card number 125. He has 2 cards in this set. To me, this card is a work of art. The way they captured his likeness on this card is just spectacular. It's repeated on 34 Goudey, but just not quite the same. So I just think this is an absolute stunner of a baseball card. Player manager. And here's another player manager from that set, Charlie Grimm, who I think we talked about a little while ago as well. This was actually the first 33 Goudey card I picked up. I've only picked up I have like 4 of them now, and I just started picking them up last year. And this was, I like the light blue background. Just a cool, I like the kind of this, it's like sort of a profile of him, half profile, I guess you could say. And Charlie Grimm is a pretty good hitter. He had a lifetime batting average of 290, and I think he had over 2,000 hits, and he was a pretty successful manager too. So, 33 Goudey is, iconic set.
Grimm won 3 pennants with the Cubs. Yeah. And so now I have my guest for my Charlie Grimm show.
All right. Yeah, great choice there. And what you said about Bill Terry strikes me as funny because it's because of knowing that image well enough that when I got my 28 the Yingling Bill Terry in hand and saw it up close, thanks to that card image, I knew, what the hell? That's not Bill Terry on this card. So, yeah.
I have bought and sold the same card, John. I sold my fake Bill Terry rookie also. So
yeah, I couldn't stand to have a card that's not the right person. That's why I can't believe how much those Cy Youngs that are Irv Young go for. But all right, Aaron, you're up with number one choice for the 30s.
All right, no Goudey here. I like real images when possible. I like oversized when possible. And I'm going to, I think we've all gone things that are visual. This is the only set I can think of where you can actually feel a difference in the variations within the set, which is why I decided to put this one number one. So it's the 1936 R311. And one of the cool things of this set is you can get something like that where it's an entire all-star team image. You can get a nice solo Dizzy Dean, and those are both considered glossy, so they're kind of like a 8x10 print you'd get and make at home. But that set also has another variation. You get a leather finish. It's one of the few cards you can actually feel and touch, and that's one of the reasons I like having them not graded. I can actually take this out and touch it, and you can feel that it has a different texture to it than other cards. So I don't know if there's any other card sets where you can feel a difference. So the Hornsby, and then you do get really cool images too, like the DiMaggio there with a couple of teammates, including, well, I mean, they're both really good, but Lazzari's Hall of Famer. So 1936 DiMaggio. Kind of a fun set, but it's, you know, talking about appeal and best looking, best whatever. The fact you can actually touch, to me, was cool. So maybe a little different set, but R311.
Do we want to answer that quick question from Dane there? Who would you rather have, 52 Mantle or 4 Ruth Goudeys? I know what I'd take in a heartbeat.
I would go 4 Ruths.
yeah, I'd go with the 4 Ruths.
I don't know. I think I only need one Ruth from that set, and it's the red one that, Dan, you picked up earlier this year. I like that one the most by a lot, actually. I don't like the two. Well, the one head to toe is my least favorite. The yellow one I like, and the green one's all right to me. The red one is amazing. So I'm on the fence on that. I'd have to think about it some more.
I'm Ruth all day.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't. That's not my favorite Mantle card. If I had unlimited budget, I would like a really nice either the 54 Red Heart or maybe the 53 tops. So, but all right, my turn for the number one card. So. We saw this once on someone else's list, but I am making it the number one choice for me, and I am going with 33 DeLong. It's just, to me, it just screams these guys are legendary. They're larger than life. You know, what would have made this more classic is if they had a Ruth card, because who else was larger than life than Ruth? But, you know, obviously the Gehrig is one of the most favorite cards out there. But still, these cards are amazing. Besides this Fox, my goal is to eventually add the Cochran from this set. Kind of like how he's squatting out a player out of his posterior.
It's just so fun. It was just such a creative design. I want to know whoever came up with that. I'd love to know the story behind it. I know the DeLong was with Goudey, right? He broke away and made his own card set for 1 year. But I'd love to know more, I guess. And I could probably find out about it if I looked hard enough. But yeah, just an iconic design for 1 year.
All right. We are now into the 20s. We are going long, aren't we? Thank you for staying with us.
Yes.
I knew this was a bit off a little more than a live stream can normally chew, but let's keep rolling. All
It's too
right.
much for my Chromebook, I can tell you that. It's crashed 3 times.
We are to the 1920s, and so Dan is up first. There we go.
So, the way the 30s was a problem because there were so many superior sets, and I'm with you guys on the DeLong. I just pulled out my Fox. It's a great set, and I could have had it in there, but I just felt strongly about the 3 that I did choose. That being as it may, 1920s is kind of a different problem. There's a lot of sets. There's tons of sets. There's also tons of sets that use the same picture over and over again. There's weird designs. There's some cool designs, but I don't know. I just kind of figured if I had to choose 3, I would choose ones that had some uniqueness to them, and the design was okay, and everything else about it was pretty cool. So Maple Crispet was produced in Montreal in 1923. That's Emile Musial, who also was known as Irish Musial. He's the brother of Bob, who was on the Yankees. Irish was on the Giants. They went head to head in a couple of World Series in the 20s. But I just love this Maple Crispet back, which has like a glove. You can't even see it with my terrible camera. The glove and the bat. Well, actually, you can kind of see it. The glove and the bat, and it says if you send in enough of these cards, you'll win a glove and a bat and a ball from to learn how to play baseball in Montreal in the 1920s. So I don't know that they were doing much baseball back then, but I think this is a pretty cool set. So I figured that was good for number 3.
Okay. So up next on this one now, John did not have the card in this case. So
I have one card from the 20s, I think. I'm pretty sure I have one. So I saved it for number 1 set because it's the only set I have represented. So
okay.
It was only fair.
Okay. All right. So next is John's choice for number 3.
This is a pretty interesting design. It's a really cool design, and it's actually a multi-sport and it's non-sport too. There's entertainers, I think it's just a bunch of non-sports also, or other sports, I guess you could say. But it is it's different in that, like you said, Dan, there's so many photo choices are the same, but so many 20s cards look similar. They just kind of are different E-series or, there's a lot that look the same to me anyway. But I'm also not all that expert on the 20s cards. I think this was by far the toughest decade for me to kind of pick sets of. But this is a player that, I'll probably, Bucky Harris, who was player manager of the Senators, took him to 2 straight World Series in 24 and 25. This is the 26 issue, but it references it right on the back. I would love to add this to a player manager checklist I have someday. I have them on the list. I'll probably never pick it up, but who knows? But it's just a really cool card. To me, it's the front of the card speaks like silent film, like title cards to me a little bit, just with the fancy kind of ornateness with the framing. So that's a nice little touch. I just think they're neat. And Spalding put them out. Like, they were known as like Sporting Company of America, I think, back then, but it was Spalding. So that's what they're
so everybody's looking for it. It's 1926 Spalding Champions. So.
Yes.
All right. Next is going to then be Aaron's choice for number 3.
All right, 1920s. I went with a W card. It's one I just actually added, so I just shared this card. I'll show it first. I think the images, and again, it's simple, it's clean. I'm an image person. W575-2. So the -2 is basically just it's an image with a little bit of a signature, and some of them, it's Eddie Collins. I love that he's just in, I don't know, Sunday best on the way to the park. Like, I'm not sure, he looks very formal, and
Wasn't that everyday wear back then?
Probably, yeah. That's probably what he wore to the game, and they took a picture. But even the other ones, I feel like you don't see that Hornsby often. Like that's a pretty unique Hornsby.
Oh yeah.
And then like I've got a Ty Cobb as well that I thought was pretty cool, but you get to see like his grip on the bat. Like that to me is just so gosh darn cool. So every time I see this set, I'm like, I don't see that image anywhere else. So to me, that's a big deal.
I've lost 2 or 3 auctions on that set. I haven't won one yet.
I just picked up a Moranville a month ago, and I thought it was a facsimile signature, but all the signatures look like the same font of script. But it is also an image that I've never seen of Moranville before, so I think that is a unique thing.
Yeah, very cool.
All right, that is my turn. For my number 3 set, I don't own all of the exact examples. I have a cousin to it, but I'm going with the 1928 issues, of which I have a W502. But this would be very similar to the Yingling, Tharp, Sweetman, Harrington ice cream cards that are designated as F50. They have a slightly different font on those ones is the only difference, but they have this same style. They use the same photos. It's not focusing very well, is that? Come on. Come on, camera. Really? You're just going to keep focusing on my finger and not the card? There we go.
There it is.
There it is.
Sweet Lou.
All right. So, yeah, I like most of these are kind of portrait shots. The nice picture of, getting to see what all those guys actually look like. So, this one happens to be blank backed with the W502 version, but then all the ice cream ones had the advertising back on them, where they say you can turn in and turn in a Ruth and get a pint of ice cream, or turn in the full set to get a bigger prize. So, all right. So that's kicking off the decade here. All right, we're back to Dan. And there we go.
Yep. 1922 Nielsen's chocolate. I don't know. I feel like of the sets in the 20s, this is the one that took the most chance, or the most chances, with this sort of ornate design where they've got baseball player and a glove and another player, and it's kind of a cool thing. And the back is an advertisement for Nielsen's Big League Bars, which advertise 120 photographs of American or National League stars. So I felt like this was a sort of representative of a lot of what you get in the 20s, but it's got a little more personality than most of them. Dolph Luque, I should mention, is one of the first Cuban superstars. He pitched for quite a number of years. He won like 194 games, and he certainly should be in the Hall of Fame, not just because of his performances, but because he was a pioneer. Also, somebody did an unofficial who would have been the Cy Young in those years before the Cy Young existed. And if it went all the way back into the 20s, Luque was the best pitcher in the league for at least 2 of those years that he pitched in. So he would have won 2 Cy Youngs. So give him that too. But anyway, nice. So I thought Nielsen's chocolate was a good selection for number 2.
Oh yeah, and you see that same design with the E120 and the W573 strip card version. So
yeah, I have the 573, but it doesn't have a back. It's a blank back, and so this one is sort of more I think more of a legitimate issue.
Sure. Yeah, that's all I own right now is a 573, but plan to get at least one of the others. So, all right. Next is John with another slide, right? Yep.
Yes.
All right.
And I'm
there you
choosing
go.
this set. I'm choosing this set for this card and this card alone. We talked about Babe Ruth and larger than life a little bit. To me, this is the card to tell that this is larger than life, like in a nutshell. To me, this card is incredible, actually, for the time period, the way they superimposed that and did that. It's like they didn't do that on any other card in this set. E126. And it's 1927. It's like the perfect year. It's Murderer's Row. It happens to be a 60 card set as well. When Babe hit 60 in 1927. This, I don't know. I mean, that's just a weird number coincidence. But, and they actually did use card numbering on this set. It's number, I believe it's 38.
38 is what I said.
Yeah, on the lower left there. It's just an incredible card. Like, I don't even need to see, like, the back is an ad back, but it just makes you wonder if you got this. I mean, he must have been a freaking god back then. You know what I mean? He was, again, relatively speaking, at the time. And just this card says a lot to me like that. It's just, I don't know, it's getting late here in the East Coast, so I'm kind of babbling, but I was looking forward to seeing this card in this live stream because I wanted to talk about it and rave about it for a minute. I just think, go ahead, sorry.
E126?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think it's one of the last
American
candy
Caramel
card series from the decade.
It's the last American Caramel. I just picked up the Charlie Grimm. Speaking of Charlie Grimm, I picked up the Grimm from this set. Yeah.
To me, this card just blows me away. The pop count is super small. They don't come up very often. I'll never own one, but I just wanted to be able to share it in this live stream because I think it's amazing. And to me, it's like all by itself. To me, this card puts that set among the top 3 of the decade.
Well, you could borrow one from Rick because Rick's apparently got one.
You got to show it. I'm going to look for that video, Rick, if you haven't done one already. That's incredible.
He's got that one video where he's got almost 30 Ruths in one video that he's showing. So, yeah.
Got to look for that one again.
Yeah, that's a classic. So, all right. Back to the cards in hand with Aaron.
Cool. I think I'm going with more basic sets. So for 20s, one of the sets that I have a pretty good run of, I like it. It's oversized. It's amazing images, but it's not as scarce as what we're just seeing by any means. So they're accessible. But the cash-in set. Yeah. So 1929, Capture the End, and then I guess I really shouldn't show one without the other. So you got Ruth and Gehrig in the set, and then nice early Mel Ott. You got the Jimmy Fox in there. Like the checklist of that set is pretty amazing.
Oberg rookie.
Yes.
In that set.
Yeah, that's probably one of the last few big cards I have to get in that set, honestly. Maybe Hack Wilson too, I think, is missing from my set. But yeah, the checklist and images of all the players. Al Simmons is a cool card.
Grove.
Red Buffing.
I have the Grove, which is a great one. Lefty Grove.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Grove is fantastic. How would I ever miss him? Hornsby, like there's so many in there. So yeah, Cash-In is definitely a set that I think has to be included at the best sets. The images are just fantastic.
Yeah, beautiful cards. And by the way, Matt, the card story, we're still waiting for your video for about last year's national when you picked the up the Ruth. So it's a little overdue.
Just watch Jason's. Jason has the card. Watch Jason's. That was a great video.
All right. Be me up next. All right. For this one, I decided to capture my favorite of the artistic strip cards with because one of the problems that plagues a lot of these 20 strips card sets is really poor artistry. But this one in particular actually captures the players and they look like the player. And it just so happens that it's the biggest card in my collection. Here we go.
Nice.
This would be the W519 strip card here.
And the camera was so impressed that it focused right away.
I did notice that. The camera gave the card proper respect.
There you go.
So
Very cool.
love this shot of him, and the colors are amazing. And thank you for cutting it slightly small so I could afford it. Whoever cut this card when it was hand cut. So, because once these things hit a number grade, the price goes insane. Because these strip cards, typically, when it's a hand cut strip card, over 50% of them are authentics. So, and this is a case where this card in particular is the unnumbered variety, which is the most common. I think there's around 110 to 20 graded copies. It comes in one that's numbered, where it's got a number 5 on there, that's got a red background, where there's somewhere around 60-ish. And then it comes in one that I've never seen a copy to this point that doesn't look like crap. It has a white background. There's one for sale, I think, in the REA that's coming up in July that looks atrocious. But there's only like 8 copies of that version. And it's got a different number to the card, and they still estimate it's going to go for $3,000, even though he looks like he's got demon eyes, and it's a horrible looking card. But yeah, Christopher Missouri has the reddish background version that's a bit rarer than mine, but we are almost Ruth brothers. I see that comment. So, all right. Back to Dan. We are to our number 1 choices for the decade of the 20s. Thank you, everyone, for sticking around with us. Thanks for those of you watching it on replay because you had to go to bed. So, all right, there you go.
Yeah, so American Caramel made, I guess, the sets for 80 and then the sets for 120. And this is a set of 120, and it's marked as 1921. I believe that SGC made a mistake, and this is actually 1922. That being as it may, I've got quite a number of cards from both of these sets, and the pictures are really solid. The the graphics are basic, but the back has the American Caramel advertising. This card. I won in the REA auction, I guess 2 REAs ago, the night that John did a live stream with, I believe it was Tony and Petty and Dave, maybe?
Yeah, I think
but
so.
Whoever it was said some really nice things about this card as I was about to win it. It made me feel really good because I got it at a really low number because it's a 1, even though it presents like that on the front. It's got some paper loss in the back. So
perfect example.
Front's amazing.
Front eye appeal for the win.
Absolutely. All
Back
day.
paper loss for the win. So really happy with this. And these cards I think are probably the best sets in the 20s because of that. Because that they're consistently solid.
Great choice. All right. There you go. Just officially warm. Thank you, Greg. All right, so John has the 1 card from the 20s in hands. We're switching to the camera.
I don't think Greg wrote that comment. I think Mookie wrote it and sent it to him. Mookie is his comedy ghostwriter.
Well, I'll try my best to move this right along then. But yeah, here's the 1 card I have from the 20s. It's actually from the E series, I believe, just before the one Dan showed. It's from E120. And I have an example of Frank Frisch.
Nice.
And here are a couple of reasons why I really like this series, the E120s. From now they listed as 1922 as well. I like that they have the I like the design piece is interesting, is nice. But I like that the National League has this like bluish greenish tint, and the American Leaguers have the sepia tone. So kind of a distinction there, which is cool. But what I really love, almost as much as the image on the front, I love the back. It's not an advertising back. They have a checklist essentially of the team on here. I mean, a small ad on the bottom. but I really, really love that they list John McGraw, manager, on here. And, you know, a few other making real notables on the Giants back then. And I really wanted to get a Frank Frisch card as a Giant as well. So I really like having this card. You got High Pockets Kelly on there. Who else is on here? There's a couple of other names on here, I think, that are notables at this point. Mathewson was already gone, of course. But anyway, it's just a really cool card. And one other card that I would love to own from this set would be this George Sisler. I'd love to have the Sisler from this, which would be Sapia. And 22, I believe, was that the year that he set the hits record before Ichiro broke it? I think it was 22. I think he may have hit 400 that year. So I'd love to get the Sisler card someday, but it's a pricey one. But that's my set of the decade.
Well, to answer that question, we're doing them merged together because there's not really enough aughts choices. So we're going to do Deadball as our last to close this out. So, all right, good choice there. Aaron, number one.
I'm cheating again. I'll call this cheating. And this, to me, this was probably the easiest and most distant number one of any of the decades. So I don't think anyone else even listed it, unless someone still does. But exhibits. I don't care which variation you want to go with. That's a 1921 Walter Johnson. Some are postcard backs, some aren't. But these images, like that might be my favorite Walter Johnson. This is one of my favorite Lou Gehrig's for sure. And just different. I'm not sure I'd go favorite, but Rogers Hornsby. Just a different image, different pose that you just don't see all the time. And I've got dozens of these things that I absolutely love. They're big, they're oversized, they're real images. I mean, yeah, anyone that watches in my videos, like I get hung up on like their glove and their shoes and their hat, and like I love all the little details of these things. So I'm an image person. To me, that's as good as it gets. The tints, all the different things, you can make variations. So I'll take any exhibit. So I'm good with that.
Nice. Those are beautiful. I mean,
great.
I don't even ponder oversized with my limited space. So, but yeah, those are beautiful.
I'm about to lose one of those at the REA auction tonight. The Rabbit Moranville. I'm an underbidder. Oh well.
Yeah, I've let a couple go of myself.
Yeah, I can never win the Sisler. I keep losing out on.
All right. It's time for Greg to pile on again because boom.
All right, your camera doesn't respect.
It's just a great set. They got big, nice photos.
Oh, your camera. Oh, there we go. Your camera's acting up, but now it's good.
Yeah. So mine is labeled as a 22, while yours was labeled as a 21. But yeah, they're just gorgeous cards. Yeah, isn't that the image from his Cracker Jack card? So.
I love that he's listed as a manager too. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And my one is a similar style to Dan's as well. So, thank you, Paper Loss on the back. Just a different inaugural 5 member. All right. Thank you, Mookie.
Sorry.
Oh, hey, that was a great album. You know, it was one of my. I still like the album. You know, just because they didn't sing it, I didn't care what the guys looked like. Those are great studio musicians that did that. So, all right. So we are to the Deadball Era because we have merged the last 2 decades together. This will be the.
You want to do all the cards in a row on the Deadball? I think it'll speed up the process.
Maybe we should. I don't know.
So we'll do my 3, then we'll do John's 3, then we'll do Aaron's 3, etc. I do have a 4th though that I'm going to show on the screen.
I
Go
think the order busts up a little bit because John, I think, has one in here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, John froze again, didn't he?
Well,
Yep. Unless he's really concentrating hard at something.
Yeah, that one is completely frozen.
I think Mookie wrote that one.
Yeah, well, Mookie's on the East Coast, so he's getting tired for witty comments, right? So, all right. Oh, John is back. He's coming. Is he back?
There he is.
There he is.
I am here. I'm here.
All right. So here we go with
Jason. I think you're right. It's the computers. Yeah, I don't know what.
First choice.
So you can get these Sporting Life cards at a fraction of what you can buy the T206s for. I think this card cost me about $300. If you got this in a T206 Addy Johnson, a 3 that well centered, you'd spend probably close to $1,000. So I figured this was a good way to point out that this set, besides like its affordability, it's also a really nice set. And if you look at the backs are really cool. You want to give me a solo on this on the back? Yeah.
Sure. There we go.
The backs on these are gorgeous. There's like 2 or 3 variations, I think.
Yeah. It's just like Sporting Life, and it's got some cool designs on it. And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like these cards are underappreciated, and I don't know why. So there you go.
They're definitely not all underpriced, though, Dan. I just picked up a Walter Johnson that was not T206 prices.
Okay.
That hurt. I think you got a great deal on that, though. That's a beautiful card.
Now, was your number 3 up here, John? I forget.
Oh, did I miss the other 2? Or are we going 3, 2, 1 for?
I've already got the slideshow ordered to be 3, 3, 3, 3 for when they insert.
Got it. Okay.
Did you?
Got it.
Didn't you have a slide in this?
Yes, I'm ready. The card it's number 3. Yes.
Okay. Well, then you're up. Yeah.
Yep. All right. This is I believe it's the E93 set from, I think it's 1910 or 1911.
10.
Yeah. This Christy Mathewson card, along with several other cards from this set, the Frank Chance is really cool in this set as well. These illustrations to me, they practically jump off the card. The Mathewson is an example to me that like this blows away the T206 that he has. Like the rendering of the illustration of Mathewson himself is done so much better on this card than on the T206. And this is kind of a classic, kind of pitching pose portrait of him here. But it's just done so well, and the orange background is stunning. I just think this is a stunning card, and the cards in this set in general are pretty darn fantastic. I would love, I am torn between this or another card that I'll share. It's in my top 3 as well, in terms of which Mathewson I want to pick up, because I thought it was the other one. Now it might be this one. They're both fantastic cards, but yeah, absolutely love that card, and the set's cool.
Okay. Cool choice. So we are to Aaron. Let's get back to the... All right.
Well, get right to it. Colors, I feel like it's exploded in popularity. And there's 2 years. One is the only real difference is the back for most. There's a few that have different images, maybe a couple, maybe one. Mathewson for sure. But Cracker Jacks, 1914, 15. 15 seemed to be the somewhat affordable, but Branch Rickey, kind of a classic portrait type thing. Eddie Plank, they did the same thing. I do like that the set mixes it up, though, between the colors and just the images. You get three finger, kind of a little bit of an action type shot. And then even just a little bit different Eddie Seacott, just kind of chilling and getting his picture done. So I think that's one that I think most folks might put in their top three somewhere. But for me, I put it number three. The colors are just so vibrant. And the back's cool.
Great cards. All right. Okay, I went with the classic set of this era, and we've got the T206 with got one portrait there, courtesy of Darren Return to Collecting contest win. Thank you, Darren. And then I bought this Napoleon Lajoie during one of my auction closing shows. So.
Why'd you buy the T206, John? I thought you wanted a different set.
I did. Yes. I didn't want to pay what that yours ended up going for. So you helped me veer to a different path. So
I set the new comp.
Yes, you did. Yeah, what was that? The E96?
I don't know. I'll turn around and pick it up.
The same pose, but the red background. So
it's actually the E93.
Oh, okay.
Lajoie.
I know it was
with the red.
Those cards are just so nice. The E93s are just.
Yeah, I want to pop that up.
I was searching for this card for a long time,
Okay.
and I could never find one that was really clean. And this one does have a crease on it, but this was the cleanest one that I saw. And I really did research it. And I paid up for it, but you know what? That's okay. I wanted the card in my collection, so
yeah.
There you go.
So he helped me. Dan helped direct me to this one, which costs less than half as much. So thank you, Dan.
I disagree, Chris. I think Theo still doesn't know any math.
All right.
And number
we're
two
back
on
to the slideshow. Yep. There we go.
Yeah. So this is the E90-1. And a lot of them are like this. This set is sort of, I think the Cobb is very similar to the Crawford. It's just the colors for me. And the back design is really good too. I think there might be two different back designs, but this is the one that's American caramels or baseball caramels. So I really like this set in large part because this card is such a beautiful card.
Nice pick.
It's like a sunrise or something almost, or a sunset, one or the other. Yeah. They're cool.
All right. Did you have any more slides or was that it? I forget.
No, I got the rest. I'm good now.
Okay, cool. Then let's switch back. All right.
There we go. So my number two is it's the set that got me really into pre-war. It's the set that sucked me into pre-war officially, and it's T205. I just think they're fantastic cards, especially the National League cards. So this is an example of a National League card, John McGraw. Here's an example of an American League card. What am I doing? It's getting late. Eddie Collins. This is actually it's the open mouth variation, which is a little, they're not rare, but they're not as many of these as the red colored closed mouth ones. But I like the NL design a lot more. Let me put Eddie down. I love just on all of the T205s. I mean, they were innovative, I think. I mean, even after the huge, what T206 did and continues to this day, what it means in the hobby, it brought in the logo, a team letter logo, or for the A's, it had the elephant. Connie Mack played up the elephant at that time, and they brought it on basically adopted it as their logo at that time. Team name there, facsimile signature, brought in a biography. these cards were really, really, I think, they broke some ground. And the gold borders are fantastic too. Just in the McGraw card, I'm a McGraw fan, so I just think that's just a really good rendition of him or impression of him. So yeah, T205 is what got me into pre-war about 2 years ago, and I had to recognize it. It's not number one for me, but it's solid number 2.
All right, great choice, Aaron.
All right, I am going to go with absolutely one of my favorite sets of any era. 1916 M101-4 or 5. I don't care. Amazing images.
Yep.
Biggest card in the set I will probably never have because it's Babe Ruth's rookie card. But Happy Felch, Black Sox fame, Honus Wagner. Like, the images are just fantastic, and for that era, simple, but to get real images to me is a treat. And I think maybe that's probably the only card where Sisler's listed as a pitcher. That was a tough one for me to find because I had the one where he's listed as a first baseman. So
was he still actually pitching back then?
Yeah, he was.
He was pitching back then. Okay.
Yeah, he was. He had 2 wins against Walter Johnson. Yeah, he was legit. So not a lot of pitching, but I think his career ERA was like 2.35 or something. So pretty crazy.
Nice. Of course, the whole Deadball Era thing kind of helps a little bit, but
for
still
sure.
good.
For sure, yeah.
All right, nice looking set. All right, for mine, it's going to be very familiar. There we go. For all the reasons John said, it is interesting to me how the St. Louis Browns ended up with the Fleur de Lis on there. I confused by that, but yeah. So yeah, I got the National League without the frills, and then the American League, the extra frills to them. So, but,
yeah, they're just
great looking set.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing cards.
All right. I forgot. I did have one honorable mention because it's not really a baseball card set that I didn't include. Is this T227? Since there are only 4 baseball players in it, it's like a 54 card set, I think is what it is, and it's 5 of them are boxers because boxing was actually the #1 sport during the Deadball Era. So, but
Awesome.
I think that one's beautiful. There's a Ty Cobb that looks spectacular in the upcoming auction. I think is that the REA one also that I saw that one in, or somewhere. It's there's, I think, a SGC 2.5 Ty Cobb that's just gorgeous. I mean, it's going to go for way more money than I can afford. That's a 5-figure card, but
yeah,
damn. If I had Mike Petty's checkbook, I don't know if I could resist that one.
Mookie is still coming through with the zingers.
Chris, I had 3 changes of wardrobe, so there you go. I have my final card, and then I do have a honorable mention. Give me the full screen to do the honorable mention first. Give me a solo. So this is the 3rd card that I was going to raise as being one of the most artistically beautiful cards.
Love that card.
It is a T207 Jack Barry. That's the recruit back, but it's like this card that I feel looks like a dancing routine. And he was a middle infielder for the Philadelphia A's, and he was a great fielder. So if you're going to put a guy as a great fielder in an artistic card like this, Jack Barry was the right guy. But you can go to the slide for my last choice.
All right. Yeah, in spite of this going on forever, we're like an hour and a half, but behind like that Because I'm Carlos Cruz usual length. So those guys have got some stamina.
Yes. Dylan is right. This is a shout out to Dougie K, who turned me on to that card, and I looked for it for a while and finally found the right copy.
Oh yes, that is definitely a Doug looking card. So
yep. So my last choice I was looking for this card for a long time. It's, of course, a Crackerjack, which I think, 14 or 15, as Aaron said, are two of the best sets of any era. And I think for pre-war, for Deadball, they got to be my number one choice just because, the color of the images, the historic nature, there's Federal League guys in it. There's guys like Mathewson and Wagner and Cobb. And, it's really just got an incredible roster of players. Moranville, of course, I've mentioned him about 8 times tonight. He's part of my 1914 Braves set build. I'm down to 1 card to complete it. But this one, I looked for a while because every one of these images, this one's a little lighter than usual. Every one of these images makes him look like he's got a Hitler mustache. So I wanted to get one where he didn't look like Hitler. So that's what I did. And this was a 2, and it cost me over $1,000. But you know what? It's worth it. So there we go.
All right. And welcome to the chat because I'm Carlos there. All right. We are back on the cameras with John's number 1 pick.
All right. Before I show it, I'm looking at the time, ticking on the top left of our feed here, and it's like we're approaching Titanic, Ben-Hur, Lord of the Rings length movies. That's how I'm seeing it. So yeah, we're getting there. But my number 1 card set of the Deadball era, it's the one that Dan just referenced. It's Crackerjack. And here's the one example I have. 1915. So you could get these through the mail, and clearly this one was through the mail. But I just I don't know. This was a card I did not need to get, but I just wanted to get. This was one of my biggest splurges I've made since I've come back in. And part of the reason why I got it is because this guy happened to grow up near where I live now. I'm not a native Michigander, but he grew up pretty much in the same county that I'm in now. And when I saw the name, when I saw Kalamazoo on the back of this card, I'm like, oh shit, I might really have to look into this card. It's kind of singing to me. Beyond the amazing image, I mean, the render. I think this is also just one of the best player renderings of these Crackerjack cards. I love the the classic red, but then this is like almost like a maroonish kind of red for the Phillies. It's just a beautiful illustration of him. Bill Killefer was the catcher for the Phillies. The Phillies won the National League pennant in 1915. Grover Alexander was their ace pitcher, and Killefer was the catcher, and he followed Alexander to the Cubs later in their careers. They were a battery for 250 games, I believe it was. So and Killefer ended up managing a little bit himself and was a longtime coach, long career in baseball. Just a beautiful, beautiful card. They're upside down because of the album they came in 1915. But yeah, Crackerjack. I also love the size of the card. To me, that was kind of a bold decision of theirs compared to tobacco era cards. These are much larger, or a fair amount larger, so it stands out that much as well. In addition to just the incredible bold red color that they had. So yeah, they're just fantastic cards.
All right, great choice. Beautiful card. So, yeah, to all these comments, clearly this is For Collectors live stream, the director's cut. So,
all right, we got Aaron's last card, or is it going to show like 6?
You're killing me. So they're asking for a better ending than Titanic. Well, just like the cards we've shown, everybody was dead. So pretty much that's the way.
I did say Lord of the Rings. That ended pretty well, right? At the end.
Yeah.
The last
I'll just
one.
show one.
All right, show us a good one for Frodo.
All right, so this is my number 1. It is oversized, so you guys might not have qualified it, but 1909 to 13, it is back to Sporting News, M101, this time -2. I think these are just phenomenal, and actually, since we've started this live stream, I added one to my collection, which is true. It's pretty crazy, so when I get it in,
I got to get off by midnight so I can get in on the last 15 minutes of REA.
Yeah, time's ticking, but yeah, I actually did add one since we've been on this live stream, so I'll just show that soon and give credit to tonight. But yeah, I think these are just absolutely phenomenal. They're always in brutal shape, but you get to know the actual date they were issued. They're extremely thin and fragile, but the images, again, like you don't see that Ty Cobb anywhere else that I know of. I'm not sure, but very unique imagery, which is my thing. And they actually put like the name on it's Tyrus. So I don't know if that counts as a grand finale for me, but that might be my favorite set right now. I absolutely love these things.
Nice.
I'll just show the one.
The comments.
I did see the comment from somebody about no T3 Turkey Red, which I don't know about you guys, but I don't follow oversized, but the price alone kind of knocks those off my radar of thinking about them. So
I've got a couple. There some if you get like the Chief Bender and some of those, you can get them for not crazy, but yeah, Cobb and Mathewson are pretty crazy.
Yeah. All right. We're back to
John,
slides because I don't own copies yet, and to not much surprise, boom, those are my goal cards for Cracker Jack. So especially the one on the right, the Fred Clark. I just love that one. Don't want to pay the 14 tax, and just want to have good color. Some caramel stainings would be nice. You know, some real honest corners. Shout out to Mike Petty. So, yeah, it's just gorgeous. That I stood a long time at Strongsville staring at Stan's case.
He's got a lot of them.
He had a lot of them there. So, you know, they weren't, he didn't have either of these in a grade that connected to me because, yeah, I'm looking for an authentic or a one probably that is my kind of speed. So, all right.
All right.
We did
there
it.
You have it. Oh, so for the 1890s, my first set is the Mayo Cup plug. So, no.
Well,
thank
for
you,
what it's
everybody,
worth, those
for
Midland
sticking
champions from
around.
the 1880s are pretty amazing. That King Kelly or whatever. I mean, you could put him out there.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you everybody for sticking around, and it's awesome to have everybody staying around this long. I can't believe it. 38 people stuck around this long, but we were peaking at 70, over an hour ago. So, yes, great. Thank you for all the efforts. Obviously, we'll all be spending a lot of time putting our cards away, as you can see from all the inserts I've got.
Tell me about it.
Behind me, and, you know, continuing on in the other cases. So, you know, I didn't bother to put inserts in those ones since they're not off camera, but yeah. Everybody, once again, if you didn't hear, 4 weeks from today, Hobby Palooza. It's going to start Friday night, go Saturday all day, Sunday all day. Hopefully be around for that. And teaser for those of you that stuck around this long, there's going to be a big announcement coming Saturday night when Theo appears on Jeremy Lee's live show. So that's all I'm going to say at this time. I'm not allowed to say more, but you might want to see Theo appear on Jeremy Lee's show. I think his starts at, what time is it?
10 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, 10 Eastern. I know it's a late show, but yeah. So, yeah, perfect time to drop a promo when nobody's left, right? It's the dedicated people.
You got to build the buzz. Like,
scoop,
oh, did you hear? Did you hear? And you're like, no, I didn't hear. So you got to build it up over the week.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Everybody, thank you.
Mike Petty, we can't say anything. We can't say anything.
Can't say anything. We are not allowed to say anything. So, all right.
No
Thanks,
word
everybody,
will be
for
spoken.
watching, and we'll see you next time here on 4 Collectors.
Love the hobby. Keep collecting baseball cards.
Mike.
And nicer.
But
Hey, we want to keep the lights on here at Four Collectors Studios, so hit the like button for us, guys.
So thanks everybody for coming, and yeah, we'll see you next time on Four Collectors.
All right, guys, have a great rest of your night. Subscribe to the Four Collectors channel if you haven't done so yet, and we'll see you soon.
All right, guys. Clemente Collector has said we hit a grand slam, so that makes me feel good.